everyone, I hope you have been enjoying the Developer Day content so far. My name is Lucy and I'm a strategy manager on the ecosystem team here at Atlassian. I'm pleased to be here today representing Atlassian Ventures. I'm also pleased to be joined by three of our recent cloud marketplace investees. Biro, the co-founder of Jexo, Anton, CEO and founder of Hello Clark, and Louise, the CTO of IQ Team. The purpose of this session is to provide you, our developer community, with better insight into the Atlassian Ventures application process. We really want to demystify that process for obtaining funding for your cloud app business. First, I'll provide an overview of Atlassian Ventures and the application process. We'll then open the floor to our developer panel to hear more about their experiences when applying and how obtaining funding has helped them to expand their businesses. And don't worry, I'll finish the session with a final reminder on how to apply. So let's get started. So first, what actually is Atlassian Ventures? Atlassian Ventures was launched in September 2020 with a remit to invest in businesses that are building for the Atlassian cloud ecosystem. Our ecosystem of peer technologies, marketplace app developers, and solution partners has been a real advantage in growing our cloud customer base, and we want to continue to build on that advantage by providing direct financial support to such businesses. Atlassian Ventures invests in three main categories. The first, and what we'll be focusing on today, is seed investment in early stage marketplace app businesses that are building apps for any of Atlassian's cloud products. That could include Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, or Trello. The second is investment in larger scaled ecosystem product partners, similar to previous investments we've made in Zoom, Process Street, and Split.io. These investments are made in partnership with institutional investors. And the third category is tailored investment for members of Atlassian's Solution Partner Program, looking to augment their cloud service business and or create products that support the future of work. So today we're focusing on that first category, seed investments, which is most relevant for our developer ecosystem. Seed funding is relevant for both existing and new to Atlassian cloud app developers who are looking for their first funding. Applicants need to have a business plan focused on building apps for Atlassian's cloud products. Such apps are typically monetized through the Atlassian marketplace, or they could be a Trello power-up. So why should you be interested in obtaining Atlassian Ventures funding rather than funding from an angel investor? Our primary aim is really to attract developers to the Atlassian ecosystem. We want you to build your career with Atlassian. Given this, we've created developer-friendly terms designed to be applicable to many, given we want to scale the number of investments we make. The standard investment is $250,000 US convertible note. This will only convert to equity if you have future equity funding rounds for the business. Also, we don't put a lot of onus on reporting. There's a quarterly check-in on key metrics, but ultimately we want you to spend the time developing your business and building for the future. Atlassian Ventures is also a global program. So if your application is chosen, our legal team will work with you to structure the investment within the constraints of your country's legal requirements. The whole application process can actually happen in just an 8-week timeframe. First, you submit an application via the online form at go.atlassian.com/Atlassian Ventures. We ask some key questions about the apps that you're building, what stage of development you're in, and your target customers. The Atlassian Ventures team reviews the applications once per month, so you'll probably hear back from us within 4 to 7 weeks. If you're successful in moving forward, you'll likely have one meeting with Atlassian Ventures and one meeting with a product owner in an area relevant for your app business. That's a great opportunity, of course, to speak to the Atlassian team about your plans for the future. From there, we ask more detailed questions and ask for legal documentation about your business, and we draw up the investment document for you to sign. Now, onto our developer panel. I'm really pleased to be joined by Biro, Anton, and Louise from Jexo, Hello Clark, and IQ Team to learn more about their experiences. We'll start off with some introductions. It would be great if each of you can provide an overview of your business and the number of years you've been building for the Atlassian ecosystem. So Biro, why don't we start off with you?
Hello, I'm Biro. I'm a co-founder at Jigsaw, and our apps help team better plan and track work in Jira. I started building in the Atlassian ecosystem back in 2018, so around 3 years now.
And Luis, how about you?
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Luis. I develop for the Atlassian ecosystem since 2016, and I'm the co-founder and CTO of EQteam. So we are the company behind Team Files, which is an app that allows other companies to share their content stored in any cloud storage like SharePoint, Dropbox, whatever, to the Atlassian ecosystem. So in summary, we help our companies to access data and collaborate faster while maintaining one single source of truth.
Thank you. And Anton, how about you?
Hi, I'm Anton. I'm the founder of Hello Clerk. We build financial apps for Atlassian ecosystem that help small and medium companies to be more profitable. And I have been building for the Atlassian ecosystem for around 2 years.
Great, thank you. And Anton, how exactly did you get started with building for the Atlassian ecosystem in the first place?
Before founding Hello Clerk, I worked in service companies, mostly as a designer, and we actively used Jira for time tracking. And my responsibility was creating invoices from Jira time. And that was a really painful and fully manual process. So I decided to create an app for that, which will help to do the invoicing from Jira.
Cool. So you're really solving a problem that you'd come across yourself. That's really interesting. And Biro, was that the same for you as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Nikki, my co-founder, and I, we used to work on a previous company together in the same team. And at one point, we were split up in different teams. We wanted to continue to work together, so we decided, let's do a side project together. And at the time, I was also playing the release manager role. And I really needed a way to visualize and track release phases in a calendar view across multiple teams. So we had this very complex release process. And we looked in the ecosystem, we couldn't find anything that was suited except for Portfolio for Jira, which was a bit too complex for what we needed. So then we started sketching out, and as soon as we made the first sketches, we realized, hold on, this could actually be very useful for others to use in the that use Jira and in the ecosystem. So that's how we got into the whole marketplace and how to build apps that can be reshared and reinstalled and so on.
That makes a lot of sense. And Luis, how did you come up with the idea for your app then? Was that similar for you too?
Actually, that is curious because previous to Team Files, we were challenged by some people from Atlassian to, what I mean is before that, we developed some mobile application that worked as some kind of cloud manager aggregator. So we built one application that allowed you to manage all your clouds inside one application. So by the time of an app week in 2016, we were challenged by some people from Atlassian to think about how we could apply the same concept inside HipChat. So we were challenged to use that app week to develop some kind of proof of concept, which we did, and we validate the idea. And after being inside the Atlassian ecosystem, we noticed that there was some kind of a gap between in this communication between companies, cloud storages, and the Atlassian products. So that's where we decided to go a little bit further and develop our first integration for Confluence. And basically that's how Team Files was born. And we have recently expanded to Jira as well, but that's the story behind how we started.
That's really cool. And Biro, perhaps in the context of the growth of your company, Like, why did you decide to apply for Atlassian Ventures funding when you did?
Well, this is an interesting story. I don't know if you have all day for me to explain, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Some folk in the ecosystem, I already know that we already had seed investment from a Resolution team. They're the creators of SSO solutions. They're a platinum solution marketplace partner, sorry. And that was what really helped us take the decision to basically quit our jobs and focus full-time on Jexo. And this was in early 2020. So a year ago was when Nikki and I moved away from our full-time jobs to focus on Jexo. And over the 2020 year, we grew steadily. We managed to grow the team to 6 of us. We also became Marketplace Silver Partner and launched our 3rd app. But Atlassian is constantly accelerating this evolution of the cloud offering. And we wanted to make sure that we don't just keep up with Atlassian, but excel with our cloud offering. But for that, in order for that to happen, we needed to scale and accelerate a bit. And this is basically why we went for venture.
Yeah, that's great. That makes a lot of sense. And Anton as well. So your business is quite a lot newer than Biro's. So what made you, or why did you decide to apply for the Atlassian Ventures funding?
The reason is very simple. So the Clerk Invoices app was my side project, and I wanted to make it a full-time job and fully dedicate myself to this business. So the Atlassian Ventures funding was a chance for me to do this.
Yeah, that's really good. And Louise, how about you for that question? What made your company decide to apply for the funding?
Actually, I think that I'm in the same place that Biro, because we already had our dedicated team. We already are an Atlassian Silver Partner, so we had all of this. But we kind of had the need to excel things and to grow faster, to deliver faster, and that's the main reason why. And the other reason was when we founded EcoTeam, we said that we would only accept to be funded by a VC if the VC was already inside Atlassian ecosystem, or mainly that understood the Atlassian ecosystem. So we kind of joined both, the best of both worlds. So we needed to grow faster with a partner that already understands and knows exactly how the marketplace, how the ecosystem works. So I think that were those were the main points for us to decide to apply.
That makes sense. So yeah, you kind of had different experiences, or you're at different stages of growth between you. You've all got what we call seed funding. So it's really interesting to see how that can be applied to different use cases. So the real purpose of this panel is to demystify the application process for other developers that are thinking of applying for Atlassian Ventures funding. So I think all 3 of you have met with slightly different people. Biro, can you describe to us how you found that application process?
Yeah, sure. But before, if I may, I just wanted to mention on the previous topic, I think there's a bit of a misconception in the ecosystem. People have asked me, why did I went for venture investment when I already was seed funded? And I think that's a misconception that people have, that the venture program is strictly for completely new startups that need funding to get started, when in reality, it's not just for that. Yeah, that's Anton's story, and that is one purpose, but also if you already have a, let's say, lucrative business in the Atlassian ecosystem and you're generating revenue, you can still apply for venture in order to accelerate, expedite your growth, to put it like that, if you need to.
Yeah, thanks. That's a really good thing to call out. And so how, in terms of meeting with people during the application process, how did you find that experience?
For us, it was really interesting. First of all, Lucy here, I think you're probably one of the friendliest and helpful Atlassians I met so far, and I didn't met many, but you're up there. But the main delight for me was how interested Atlassian was in us as a team and our potential, mainly because some of our products overlap with Atlassian Jira offering. So it was great as part of the application for us to be able to sit down and talk to product leaders about the Jira strategy, long-term strategy, and basically where we sit, where our products sit in that strategy.
Great, that makes sense. And Anton, how did you find the application experience?
For me, the entire application process was surprisingly smooth and fast. All Atlassians that I talked to were very responsive and friendly, and I even had feeling that we are the same team. In the beginning, I anticipated a long-lasting interviews, business plans, examinations, etc., but everything was very, very simple for me. That was my first experience in fundraising, and I can tell that it was really pleasant.
That's great, thank you. And Luis, how is it for you?
Actually, we were surprised by the process because we had experiences with other VC funds in the past, in other startups. And in this particular case with Atlassian Ventures, it was like a super fast and lean process. They were very clear with the steps, with the assessments, all they were very friendly, very focused on what's really matter. And that was kind of refreshing for us, at least regarding our previous experiences with other VCs here in Portugal. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think you've all hit the nail on the head there with the fact that our real aim is to scale the number of these investments that we do. And so we're not too onerous on the documentation side. Really, we just want to get to know the founders, get to know the team, their idea, and fund them where we can. So yeah, thanks for your insight there. It'd be really, really helpful for other people. And then, Luis, maybe I'll come back to you on this question. So how exactly has receiving investment impacted your business over the last few months?
Yes, like I said before, we already had our business running. We already had a dedicated team. So we didn't use the investment to kind of leave our full-time jobs to dedicate to the project. We already was that, but we use the investment to reinforce the marketing and sales team, for instance, and to increase or to reinforce the engineering team, so we can develop and deliver faster, and we can obviously grow faster as well.
Great. And Anton, what difference has the investment made for you?
So after getting funded, I could quit my full-time job and fully focus on my startup. So the funding was a really game changer for me in my career. So what are my plans for this funding? So now I'm actively trying to hire more people. It's not an easy thing, especially at this time when the salaries jump very high. And I plan to invest money in the product first. We need to find a better product market fit, and only after that, after we find it, I plan to start spending on marketing.
That's great. And Biro, same question to you there.
Well, I think there was a similar answer previously to this that's quite similar to mine. So first of all, we were able to hire and double our team size. As I mentioned, over 2020, we managed to get to 6 of us, and now there's around 12. This helped unload some of our team's members to focus on one role rather than 2 or 3. For example, Vlad, our production support manager, was also our main QA tester. We were able to hire a dedicated QA role that can focus just on that, so that Vlad can focus on production support, especially that with the growth and with the installation count comes a lot of servicing for customers. We also increased the product team and accelerated delivering improvements as well as new products. We're preparing some quite interesting new products over the summer, as well as increasing the marketing and sales team so that we can focus on lead generation, content distribution, and being a profitable business generating revenue means that we also have, with this investment, we also have a bit of a wiggle room to where we put our money to work. So we can experiment a bit more with advertising, with sales funnels and other bits rather than just paying salaries. I think we all know about that. So that's kind of where we are currently with the investment.
That's great. And you've touched a bit there on like your kind of plans for the next year as well. So you can see that it's going to give you a bit more flexibility in different things. Luis, have you got any major plans, or what are you hoping to achieve over the next year or so?
Oh, absolutely. And it's quite simple, because we just want to be the default file management platform for both Jira and Confluence. Basically, that's our main goal with the team files for the next years.
That's great. And Anton, how about you?
So we have plans for the next year and for the next 5 years. So for the next year, we want to refine our first product, make it work for most of our clients, and we want to validate one of our ideas of our next app. And during next 5 years, we want to become profitable, because right now we are the startup, and we plan to have a few strong apps that people love to use.
That's great. And so, Anton, maybe I'll come back to you for this last question that we've got. What advice would you give to others that are considering applying for the Atlassian Ventures funding?
So I found that the main goal for Atlassian with this investment fund is to develop the ecosystem. So I would advise to try to find some unique idea that is not already present in the marketplace, because what I see that Atlassians are interested in such kind of apps, and go with it and you will succeed.
That's great, thanks. And Luis, any advice from you?
I think that most honest advice that I can give to companies who are considering applying to the Atlassian venture is that obviously that money is important. Obviously, I think that we all know that. But I think that the most honest advice I can give is that the companies think further than that, because if you feel like that venture you are trying to apply does not suit your needs, or if you do not feel that is the right business partner for you, then simply don't. So first, you need to find the right partner for you, and if you find it, then just go. I think that's the most honest advice I can give.
Thanks, thank you. And Bira, I didn't give you a chance to say your long-term goals if you were thinking of sharing that with us as well, but maybe you can talk about that, and then any advice that you'd give for the developer ecosystem.
Well, honestly, I thought that you didn't ask me because I boast about it everywhere, what our plan is and such. So I thought, well, maybe it's already known fact. But we plan to consolidate our product offering and kind of become a complete suite of products for project portfolio management. This has been our plan throughout 2020, and it continues in the next year or so. In the same time, being cloud only, I do feel that it's part of our responsibility to bring a significant contribution to the growth of the cloud ecosystem, and not only with brilliant product solutions, but also things like training, teaching, and empowering more people to explore and solve their challenges using the Atlassian products, mainly cloud. So yeah, that's kind of where we're heading. That's our mission for the next period, where the whole investment and acceleration in terms of marketing and sales and content distribution is also, from my perspective, a contribution to the Atlassian ecosystem to get more people educated of what it's capable out there, not just through our apps, but also the rest of the ecosystem. In terms of giving advice, I think first of all, the application process is not time consuming nor difficult. And the reporting you need to do every quarter is lightweight. I think Anton mentioned this earlier. So don't be put off by that, because you're not going to waste your time in reporting and going to the approval process like you might think. Like I thought, like Anton thought, like probably everyone thinks that it's a very tedious, document-heavy process, which is not. But most important, really, I think it's figuring out what you want to do, and why you're getting financial support from Atlassian Venture. Because if you're on your own and need a lot of aid with marketing, partnerships in the ecosystem, product development, etc., you might be better off with a strategic partner that is willing to also contribute in other ways rather than financial mainly and a bit of strategy. But if you have a good plan and know how you're going to execute already, and all you need is resources, then I don't think there's an option out there with better terms than Venture, hands down.
Thanks. That's really useful, really good insight from all three of you. And that concludes our panel questions for today. I want to say thank you to all three of you so much for joining us, and look forward to seeing the future success of each of your businesses. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that great insight, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. We welcome all applications for seed investment. And final reminder on how to apply. Navigate to go.atlassian.com/Atlassian Ventures, where you can read our frequently asked questions in more detail, and also look at the application form by clicking on Apply Now. Thanks again to Biro, Anton, and Louise for joining us today. We wish everyone the best of luck with their applications.